So today we are going to discuss about the length of summit curve or how we calculate this length, what formulas we use, and a bit of discussion related to this we had started in the last lecture itself when we saw this diagram, and I asked you that what could be the parameter on which you will decide as a driver that are you able to see the objects which are there on the other side of the curve or not, or other side of this apex point D. So you came up with the answers, and one of the students gave the correct answer that what we take as a deciding factor is the height of the eye level of the driver. Okay. So we concluded with the discussion that if you are driving a four-wheeler or a car, suppose, so the height of the eye level of the driver, it is a bit low as compared to a driver who is driving a truck or a bus. Okay, so the height of the eye level in that case, in case of a truck or a bus, it is more. So obviously that person or that driver, he or she can see up to a far distance, or maybe for that driver or a truck driver or a bus driver, the sight distance is not an issue in case of a summit curve. Okay? But not always it's like only a truck or a bus travels on a summit curve. We know that all types of vehicles travel on it. So that's why it's important to find out this length of summit curve for in general vehicles. Okay? So in this diagram, if you see, it is having an up gradient n1 and a down gradient n2. They both are intersecting at this point C, and then for these two intersecting gradients, we have to design a summit curve, and this is the summit curve ADB, which is the solid black line you can see, and it's a parabolic curve. Now we have to find out actually what should be this length L of this summit curve. So for that we saw that we have two factors. One is the stopping side distance and another is the overtaking side distance. And this is because when you are traveling on a summit curve, which looks like this, so you really can't guess what is on the other side of this apex. It may be a level road also, it may be another down gradient, or it may so happen that there is an obstacle just after this apex point. Okay. So in that case, the side distance plays a very important role, or even the overtaking stopping side distance or overtaking side distance. So that's why side distance I have said. So if I consider side distance, stopping side distance, so in stopping side distance we have seen in previous lectures related to this geometric design itself, that what is stopping side distance? That it is the distance required to completely stop your vehicle when you see any object in front of it. Okay. So if suppose this is the car in which you are driving, okay, this is the car in which you are driving. So the height of the eye level is suppose capital H, okay, and then you have an object which is a small object, okay, height small h, which is on the other side of that apex of the curve. Okay. So for stopping side distance, we consider these values of capital H and small h. So we'll start by that length of summit curve for stopping side distance. Okay. For stopping side distance, as for consideration of a stopping side distance, that there is some object on the other side of the curve or other side of the apex, and we are not able to see it. But assuming that it's there, we should design our length of summit curve so that by the time the driver sees the object, he or she is able to apply the brakes and stop before the collision. So in that also we have two cases. Now suppose the length of summit curve, this L value, it is greater than your stopping side distance. Okay. So in that case, we have an empirical formula that capital L is equal to ns square upon under root 2h capital H plus under root 2h small h whole bracket square. And if you see the notations, L is the length of your summit curve, it is in meters. Your capital S, it is the stopping side distance in meter. Now this we have seen how to calculate it in detail. You can just go back to those videos and you can check it out. So that's S, stopping side distance. N is the deviation angle. We have seen how we calculate this deviation angle. It's just the algebraic difference between the gradients. Algebraic difference as in just you have to subtract, but can also consider the signs of the gradient, whether it's a up gradient with a positive sign or a down gradient with a negative sign. Then you have a H, a capital H, which is height of the eye level of the driver above the road surface. Okay, so this is that car which you are driving, and if the driver is having some or sitting on the seat, so what is the height of that eye level? So generally it is taken as 1.2 meter in India for IRC considerations. And small h, it is the height of the object above the road surface. Okay, this one, the small object which is going to be there on the other side of the apex. So the height of that object, we consider it as again 0.15 meter. Again, these both are IRC considerations. They are not hard and fast rules. So if you are designing the road in some another country, so might be they have some different standard values for the height of eye level of the drivers. Okay, so for as far as the Indian codes are considered, IRC code, so these are the values that capital H is 1.2 meter and small h is 0.15 meter. Okay. And if I just substitute the values in this formula of capital H and small h, so I get this formula that L is equal to ns square upon 4.4. So if you know, or if you are going to adopt the standard values of 1.2 and 0.5, then you can directly take or use this formula of L is equal to ns square upon 4.4. Or if you are going to design your traffic of, suppose if it is such a kind of road on which only trucks are going to ply. Okay, let's assume that as a hypothetical situation. We know that in actual scenario that is not going to be the case, but then too, if we take that scenario that only trucks are traveling, so might be that eye level of or height of the eye level of a truck driver, it is not 1.2, it might be something else. Okay, more or less whatever it is. So in that case, you don't use this formula of 4.4 in it. You use the basic one, that is L is equal to ns square upon the whole bracket square, whatever this is, 2h and 2h. Okay, so just keep in mind that this formula is to be used ns square upon 4.4 only in the case if you know that the heights of the eye level of the driver is 1.2 meter and height of the object it is 0.15 meter. Okay. Otherwise, if you have some other values, you just have to take this basic formula into consideration. Okay. And then again, for the stopping side distance, the first case we had considered that length of the summit curve is greater than SSD. Now we are considering that length of the summit curve, it is less than SSD. Now why we are assessing or finding out the values of L in such cases that greater than SSD or less than SSD, because when we start designing it, we really don't know what is the length. Okay, we only know the SSD value because we have calculated that during our side distance calculations. Okay. So we'll assume these two things, or these two will be our assumptions. L is greater than SSD, L is less than SSD, and then after substituting the values, whichever assumption we get correct, we'll assume that as the L value. Okay, so if I get L is really greater than SSD, so I'll take that L value. If I don't get it, I'll move on to the next assumption that L is less than SSD. Okay. So for L is less than SSD, there is a bit change in the formula. Now, whatever is the side distance, from that we have to subtract this term of under root 2h plus under root 2h bracket square upon n. Okay. And the terminologies, they remain the same, exactly the same. L is the length of summit curve, capital S is the stopping side distance, n is the deviation angle, h is the capital H is the height of eye level of the driver, and small h is the height of the object above the road surface. Okay. And again, if I substitute the values in it, So my formula will be L is equal to 2s minus 4.4 upon n. Okay. So these are directly empirical formulas. You don't really have the derivations for it. So this is when you consider SSD or stopping side distance. Now I told you the second thing that we are going to consider is the overtaking side distance. So for that, again we have the same figure, but now in this case what will happen is the only change is that again we have two cases, L is greater than S and L is less than S. Now here I am not writing OSD because we are considering that either it can be an overtaking side distance or an intermediate side distance. So we know that ISD is equal to 2 times your SSD. So in case if your road is not that wide and the summit curve is not that sharp, so instead of providing the whole overtaking side distance, you can compromise on the intermediate side distance itself, so that will be sufficient enough for overtaking operation. Okay. So that's why it's L is greater than S. And now if you see, we have used the same formula which we had used for stopping side distance consideration, that L is equal to ns square upon under root 2h plus 2h whole bracket square. But now the only difference is here we are considering OSD. I mean, OSD we have seen that whenever we consider that oncoming vehicle, we are considering it as a vehicle. We are not considering it as an obstacle or an object. So obviously if it's an vehicle, so the driver will come into picture, and if driver is coming into picture, then obviously the height of your eye level will come into picture. So in that case, if you are considering OSD, this capital H and small h, it will be nothing but one and the same. So what I'm trying to say is there will not be any small h in the equation. It will be only capital H, which is the height of the eye level of the driver. Okay, so you can see in this figure also, top right figure, what you see. So here we have considered capital H, that assuming that there is a car over here which is moving in this direction, and now from overtaking point of view, there should be another vehicle moving in this direction. Okay. So that driver is also having some height of the eye level as capital H, and assuming that both the values or both the heights we are considering, they are following the IRC standards of 1.2 meter. So if we just substitute the values in this equation, so we get L is equal to ns square upon 4.4, and even if we don't substitute the values, if we keep it as it is, we'll get this equation that L is equal to ns square upon 8h. Okay. So again, this equation you will use if you are not very sure that what is the height of the eye level of the driver, that you are going to assume whether it's 1.2, whether it's less or it's greater than that. Okay. And if you are sure, then you can go with this formula of L is equal to ns square upon it's 9.6, sorry, it's not 4.4, it's 9.6. You can just work it out. You can see the calculations. Okay. So it's 9.6. And similarly for the second case where length of your summit curve is less than either the OSD or ISD, then in that case again you see the same formula appears which we had used for the case where length of summit curve is less than stopping side distance. Okay. Now again, instead of small h, we are going to consider capital H, and that will give us the following equations. So either ls or L is equal to 2s minus 8h upon n, or ls or L is equal to 2s minus 9.6 upon n. So this is with the formulas for length of summit curve by considering either SSD or by considering the OSD. Okay. So that's all for today. We'll stop here, and in the next lecture we'll consider the length of valley curve, and then we'll go on to the numerical part. Okay. Because the formulas are not that difficult, it's almost similar formula, so I thought of taking the numericals of all the vertical alignment together. Okay. Yeah, and before we finish, length of summit curve, just 2 points related to it, that if the deviation angle, what we are saying, okay, this deviation angle n, if it is small, then length of summit curve, whatever L value will calculate, okay, so that generally works out to be less than their side distance. Okay, so if small deviation angle, that means your curve is a flat one. So in that case, side distance is more, but your length is less. So in that case, you don't have a sharp apex, and you can see actually some vehicles which are coming from opposite direction. And if that deviation angle is really very small, okay, so it as good as a flat road, you will not even notice that you are traveling a vertical curve. So in that case, there is no problem of a side distance as such, okay, or no problems of, or no issues of sight as such. Okay, so that's all for today. We'll stop here.